They say change your mindset and your world will change. But most people never truly grasp this until life forces them to, until they hit a point so low that looking up is the only option left. This is Rith. Every single morning, he would sit in the same corner, on the same cold pavement, wearing the same torn shirt, holding out an empty tin can. He was a fixture of the busy street, a silent monument to forgotten dreams. People would rush by, their faces a blur of indifference. Some, moved by a fleeting moment of pity, might drop a coin. The metallic clink was a brief, hollow sound in the vast silence of his day, but most didn't even look. To them, he was invisible. For years, Rith was trapped in a prison of his own making, a prison built with bricks of resentment. He believed the world was fundamentally unfair. He blamed the government for its broken promises. He blamed the rich for their endless greed, and he cursed fate for dealing him such a cruel hand. His mind was a broken record, playing the same question over and over. Why me? It was a question that offered no answers, only a deeper descent into despair. He saw himself as a victim, and as long as he did, he was powerless to change his circumstances. One evening, the heavens opened up, and rain fell in cold, unforgiving sheets. Rith found shelter under a bridge, shivering, the dampness seeping into his very bones. It was on this miserable night that he saw him another beggar, an old man with deep lines etched on his face. But what struck Rith wasn't the man's poverty, but the serene smile he wore as he gave half of his meager meal to a stray, shivering dog. It was a sight that defied all logic. Confused and a little irritated, Rith approached him. "Why are you smiling?" he asked, his voice rough. "You have nothing." "We have nothing." The old man looked up, his eyes holding a depth Rith hadn't seen in years, and replied softly, "Because I have something much greater. I have a peaceful mind." Those words, simple yet profound, struck Rith like a bolt of lightning. In that moment, under the drumming rain, the walls of his mental prison began to crumble. He realized, for the very first time, the devastating truth. He wasn't poor because of life. He was poor because of his mindset. His poverty wasn't just in his empty can, it was in his empty soul. The next morning, as the sun's first rays painted the city skyline with hues of gold and pink, something had shifted within Rith. The world looked the same, but he saw it through entirely new eyes. He decided, with a conviction he hadn't felt in decades, to change. His first act wasn't to beg, it was to give. He picked up every piece of trash, every discarded wrapper and cigarette butt around his usual spot, cleaning the small patch of sidewalk until it was spotless. Then he did something even more radical. He smiled. He greeted people not with an outstretched hand, but with a genuine, warm smile. He stopped asking for things and started thanking them for simply passing by. And slowly, miraculously, something began to shift in the world around him. People noticed. They noticed the clean space, the unexpected kindness, the light in his eyes. The owner of a nearby cafe, who had ignored him for months, offered him some leftover bread. Then a week later, seeing Rith's consistent effort, he offered him a small job cleaning the tables at the end of the day. Rith worked with a quiet dignity. He swept floors and wiped tables not just as a job, but as a meditation. He saved every single coin, but not to buy things he didn't need. He was saving to buy something priceless: hope. The cafe owner, seeing his thirst for more, gave him old books that had been left behind. Rith devoured them, each page opening a new window in his mind. He started to learn, to grow, and for the first time in a long, long time, he started dreaming again. His dreams were no longer about escaping his life, but about building a new one. Within a year of that fateful rainy night, Rith had saved enough to rent a tiny, humble room. It was more than a room. It was a sanctuary. It was his. He began using his spare time to create small, handmade crafts from discarded materials. And the cafe owner let him sell them on a small table outside. His smile, once a forgotten memory, had become his greatest wealth, drawing people in more effectively than any plea for help ever could. 5 years passed. The man who once sat on the cold pavement begging for coins was now standing tall, giving opportunities to others. He had opened a small workshop, teaching young homeless kids how to make crafts, how to find value in themselves and in the things the world throws away. He taught them skills, yes, but more importantly, he shared his story. To every child who felt lost and forgotten, he would say, with a voice full of conviction, "The real poverty you must fight is not the one in your pocket, the one in your mind." So let this story be a mirror. Change your thoughts, and you will fundamentally change your world. It's not magic, it's a law of the universe. When your mind truly believes you deserve better, your actions will instinctively start creating it. Your hands will start building what your mind has envisioned. So please stop waiting for your life to change. Stop waiting for a lottery ticket, for a savior, for the world to suddenly become fair. The power is not out there, it's in you. Change your mind, set and watch, as your life has no choice but to follow. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more content that inspires. We'll see you in the next one.